for That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly. That Business Show gives a voice to Tampa Bay's entrepreneurial community and highlights our community leaders, aiming to inspire and educate our listeners. Become a part of the entrepreneurial movement today by becoming a member of the Tampa Bay Business Owners and get your brand on air today. Visit TampaBayRadio.com for more information. All shows available on demand. Now, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. It's time for our Tech Thursdays edition of the program, brought to us by Nick Paris, CEO of Alpha Computing Solutions. Learn more about him at alphacomputing.com and reach out to him at 813-839-7671. He's at extension 100. Highly recommend him for all of IT services. Also just got me hooked up with a email switchover, so I thank him for that and welcome him into the program today. So, Nick, how you doing today?
Morning, morning, Jamie. Morning, Kelly.
So, end of the year, we're going to talk about some tips for people with regard to technology. And so, one of the things people need to look at for the end of the year, update passwords, especially now with Yahoo in the news again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this is a good time of year to kind of look at that because basically, it's kind of slowing down. It's people trying to wrap up the end of the year and all that sort of stuff. And it's probably not a bad idea to sort of look ahead to 2017. I think the first thing to look at is your passwords.
How often should you update passwords?
Well, good rule of thumb is at least every quarter, but no later than twice a year. I know some clients, they say once a month. That's a little extreme. But certainly, every 3 months, it's probably not a bad idea to kind of rotate your password. As we were talking about Yahoo, and them having now sort of revealed that they've had a billion accounts hacked. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just
how does that even happen? I mean, did they just run some hacker ran an algorithm that somehow unlocked the one password to get into all the passwords?
Yeah, I think so.
How do you get all that information,
Absolutely.
without them knowing about it?
Got the keys to the kingdom, which kind of makes me believe it could have been, somebody that was working there.
In the inside. It was an inside job.
Yeah, I believe so. But, passwords is definitely, I think the most important thing that you've got to look at because you want to make sure that whether you're in the office and you walk away from your workstation or whatever, you want to make sure that workstation is secure.
But how is that possible? Because I know when somebody tries to log into one of my accounts, I'll get an email, failed login attempt occurred at this IP address. Doesn't Yahoo get some type of notification that somebody tried to log into something and it failed?
You would think, but not all services and not all pieces of software and things like that do that. So let's say like QuickBooks. I've got clients that actually password protect their QuickBooks file. But if somebody were to walk up and try to start, just putting in passwords over and over and over again, it doesn't report that at all. So like I said, it's a good idea, not only just for something like Yahoo, but also for anything that you've got a password that you use. It's probably not a bad idea to change.
Is there a service that is more attacked by hackers out there with regard to passwords than any other? Maybe it's an email service. I know with the Hamachi service, at least once or twice a month, I get a failed login attempt from some IP address overseas. I guess they like the Hamachi for whatever reason. I don't get that with the emails.
Well, I got to tell you, 1 billion is a pretty high number. I can't imagine more than a billion. I mean, and for those listening, that's B with, a billion. I mean, that's a lot.
But I get the Hamachi servers, which is a service whereby you can connect to different computers. If you remember the go to mypc.com days
right.
and whatnot. Whatever happened to that service, by the way? Did that finally just...
Yeah, I think they just...
Is that how you can do the desktop from another computer?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Remote desktop connections. And it makes people's job, like Nick's, a lot easier.
A lot easier, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you can connect anybody's computer through that service. But I at least once a month will get a failed login attempt. And so do they just like to attack those types of services?
Failed attempts, you're okay with.
It's the
successful ones that are a problem, absolutely. But no, I think it really sort of depends on, again, the numbers. How big is a service? And, again, if you've got 1 billion users, you're a big target. And so that's one of those things that you hope those services are really protecting themselves and protecting your identity and things like that.
Now, what do you recommend for passwords in terms of creation? I mean, I like the simple passwords that are easy to remember versus these X3 exclamation 42 that thing.
The latter are definitely more secure, but I say stick some numbers, stick some letters, stick some special characters in there. I like to put an @ sign in there, so sometimes, so it makes sense. Like substitute the letter A and put in, an @ symbol, or say me at whatever address or something like that. So it does make sense to you, but it has some of the characteristics of being able to be secure.
So many you hear different opinions on have all your, because it's hard to remember all the passwords. And I know there's those encrypted apps you can get to, then those, I don't know, those scare me because if somebody gets into that, they have all of them. But how important is it to have them all not the same, or all mine are different, and sometimes it's harder to keep up with.
Well, I have to tell you, for the longest time, I didn't use a product like that you were talking about, and now I use RoboForm. And I love it because it does sort of, it takes the remembering of the password out of my hands, but it still allows me to be able to change the password and or make it secure and have weird characters and all that kind of stuff in there. So it's very, very helpful. But yeah, I've only had it for 2 months, so I'm getting ready to hit my 3-month period. And so I'm going to change the master password for my RoboForm.
Well, then do you just copy and paste every time that you need to use a password into something? Or how does the password, that's just for safekeeping, right? So
No. It actually will fill in the form for you. So when you go on to, let's say, Bank of America, it keeps track of what your username and password is, and it fills it in for you.
Yeah, and it's nice because if you go to another computer and you log in and you install the RoboForm software, it'll recognize that, hey, you've been here before. And even if you go to a site that you don't go to and you forgot that you had a login for it, up in the RoboForm toolbar, you'll see, oh, wait, I've got a login for this, so I don't have to re-sign back up. And so, and it's nice that it has a password generator feature on that. And it's also nice because you can sync multiple PCs, and you can also password protect certain passwords and leave others open. So in a network setting.
And there's a mobile version of it as well. So if I've go on the road and I'm not stuck trying to remember a password.
Yeah, it's a great.
It is a great product.
Yeah, I've used it for 7 years. Fortunately, because I sell bank-owned properties, I'm in and out of all kinds of portals. Right now, I've got like 300 different logins, but I was having problems with all these different portals.
Yeah, your logins are insane. I saw that one day, and it was just a sea of passwords. I was like, oh my word!
And I can remember going to an early REO meeting, and somebody brought this up, and somebody said, "Oh, just use RoboForm." But that made the entire cost of the conference worth it. When somebody told me about RoboForm, I was like,
but
that
if you're ever compromised, if that's the case and you have RoboForm on there, it's not a matter now of just changing your Yahoo account. If somebody got into your system, that you then would have to change everything.
Well, you have a master password that you can set that goes over all the passwords. Right. And so you would just change the master password.
Right. There's like an overarching umbrella that there's one master password that gets you in.
So even if you somehow, even if you had all of the antivirus things that you needed on your computer, even if they got through that, they still couldn't get through the RoboCop one.
No. They need to have the master password to be able to even get into that.
Yep. I don't know.
Yeah, so keep the master password updated, and then that'll protect you from the other.
Individually, underneath there, you need to periodically go in and change your passwords of whatever it's storing for you. And it's kind of nice because you can actually pull it up and see what your username and password is for a particular site or a piece of software or something like that.
But what if somebody hacks the Robo system someday?
Well, I guess they could do that.
It's possible, but
it's just like hacking any other service if they get your password. But yeah, they would have to get your master password.
They're going to go after the big ones like Yahoo. If you're more of a target, you're more likely to be hacked.
But I got to be honest with you. I believe that RoboForm and services like that take security a lot more seriously than Yahoo.
Yeah, because I mean that is their business. That's all they really offer, at least as far as I can.
Whereas I think the consensus of the room is that Yahoo is the junk email of the internet. So yeah, I think they've kind of said, well, we're not going to encrypt and worry about all that. So
it's not as of important. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Now another end of year tip: clean up your hard drive. Is that even necessary these days? Because hard drives are so big.
It's not the matter that they're so big. It's the matter that what it ends up doing is by having a lot of either temporary files or extra files that you really don't need, it actually does slow it down because the way that hard drives still store data on there, you want to make sure that it's, I like to call you're basically pruning your hard drive. You're making sure that it's compact and it's the way it needs to be. And you can use what are called disk defragmenting pieces of software to actually make sure that it's all tidy and you're not having files scattered all over the actual hard drive.
I remember I used to do that on older computers. I would go into the same, like a Windows 95 and 98, I would manually go in and run the disk defragmenter. Is that going on in the background these days? You don't have to worry about going in and manually do that?
You can do that, but a lot of times no. And that's part of, with our what we call MSP clients, that's what we do on a periodic basis. We just go in there and run run that utility to make sure that it's,
And Windows comes with that disk cleanup service. If you go into the hard drive, into the properties,
and
right
that will
click.
clean up temporary files, backup files, things of that nature, because Windows is notorious for doing that. I mean, every time you just even look at the computer, it's going to create a temporary file. So the next thing you know, you've hardly done anything, and you maybe have 100 temporary files on there. And it's actually creating them, deleting them, creating them, deleting them. And so it's just scattering all over the place, which creates holes in your hard drive. So when you actually save a file, now that file might be split up into 3 different segments. So when you want to come back and open it, it's got to put the segments back together again so it can open it. So you want to clean your hard drive, you want to run a disk defrag and make sure that it's optimized.
All right. Good discussion here with Nick Paris, CEO of Alpha Computing Solutions, talking about what to do with end-of-year technology tips. And when we come back from the break, we've got some other discussions to have about reorganizing your file structure and ditching the applications you no longer use, and also how to check to make sure that your software is up to date. So we got several other tips for you when we come back from the break. You're listening to the Tech Thursdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Crash on northbound I-75 just before I-4 has all traffic being diverted off on Dr. King, and that is creating a big mess in the Brandon and Mango area. Westbound I-4 jam from Plant City over to I-75. Southbound 75 jam from just south of Bruceby Downs. If you're on northbound I-75, exit off at 301 or the Summit Expressway. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udork Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. The future is bleak for a child living in poverty. No school, no dreams, no hope. But you can change all that when you become a Compassion Child sponsor. Just a little more than $1 a day brings hope. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
Today, some sea fog early, then clearing with a high 76. Cold front moves in for tonight, mostly clear, low 55. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 76.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to Tech Thursdays on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Talking to Nick Paris, CEO of Alpha Computing Solutions. Learn more at alphacomputing.com. And we're talking about tips for the end of the year to kind of clean up your hard drive or get your IT life in order. And you're talking about reorganizing your file structure. What does that mean specifically?
Yeah, well, basically, I was talking to a colleague of mine over at a company called 5B Productions, and most users really don't save files on their computer kind of in an organized way. A lot of people just dump it into My Documents and then later on try to find it. They might create a folder here or there, and that really becomes difficult later on. I mean, if you come back 3 months, sometimes even 3 weeks, sometimes it's hard to find a document. So I recommend, make folders. At this point, start putting things in folders so that you can easily come back and say, okay, I've got a folder for all my clients, and then underneath I've got all the clients in there, or I've got personal, or I've got whatever, or banking, or things like that. So you create some big root level folders and then start organizing things in there, and then that way you can come back and find documents as easily as you need.
I always rely on just a Windows search feature. It usually takes care of finding what I need. Is that, am I safe enough just by?
You can, but if you search for something that you don't remember what you're searching for, so that happened to me yesterday. I was trying to find a document and I thought it had the word prospects in the name of the document, and so I was searching on the word prospects, and then I realized no, it doesn't have that, and so I came back, did a little bit of poking around, and I realized, yeah, I put it where it should have been. So yeah, it's not, search is good if you know exactly what you're searching for, but if you don't know what you're searching for, that could be.
I have that trouble a lot, and I think the more you build, the more your files grow.
Right.
The more you have, and the more you try to stay organized, the more confused I get of trying to find things.
Well, you got to keep it simple. I mean, you can't have a lot of, like I said, you got to have a lot of big root level folders, clients, banking, accounting, stuff like that. So you can make that decision right off. You can say, okay, it should be here or should be there, and then you can kind of search down from there.
Right.
Ditch the applications you no longer use. It seems to be happening a lot with technology, overriding old programs and applications.
Right. One of the things that happens when you install a piece of software, almost every piece of software runs something in the background. Even though you may not be actually running the software, QuickBooks is horrible about this. You'll install QuickBooks, and what it'll also do is in the background, it'll run a program that's constantly checking to see if there's an updated version of QuickBooks. Well, you don't need that running. So if you're not even using QuickBooks anymore, if you've switched to something else, well, uninstall it, because you're thinking, well, it's not really causing me any issue. Well, it is.
Is there a way to turn off those checks for updates without actually uninstalling the entire program? You probably got to go in there and turn it off in some setting somewhere.
You can, and typically it really kind of varies from program to program. And sometimes it's pretty difficult to find where to do that. So that's why I said, if there's something that you're just not using, get rid of it.
If you open up your task manager and you see a list of running programs, I mean, that's a start right there. You can see the different applications, but then again, you don't really know if you end it and you crash your computer.
Some of the names are pretty straightforward. If it starts with a QB, it's pretty good.
Right.
It's probably QuickBooks. But then there's some that just have weird names that they've named them weird, and yeah, you don't know if you stop that if it's gonna cause a problem with.
Yeah, I've
your
went in there
Windows.
and experimented with that sometimes. So I've always tried to find a way to make my PC faster
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
And,
Well, it's hard too when you don't know much about. I'm not as technologically savvy, so I'm afraid to try it with. I probably would crash something.
restart usually fixes everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Just start it all over again.
Okay, I'll
But-
go with that.
But if you go into programs and features and just uninstall something,
Right.
you can't go wrong there.
Well, what if you uninstall something that you should have?
Well, if
System
you
Or it
restore.
won't.
yeah, well, if you,
System restore.
if you uninstall something like Microsoft Office, you can always reinstall it. And it's not going to let you uninstall something that is needed for Windows.
Right.
It's not going to
Oh,
let you
okay, good to know.
going through that. It won't let you do that. Now, if you just go into your hard drive and start randomly deleting files, yeah, that
Wait,
could
and
be a
you
problem.
can see when it was last used, can't you? Like, so if you
Yes.
go into the program, it'll show you. Well,
Right.
I thought it used to do that. Last time I tried to do that to clean it up, I could not find that. But
Well, and a lot of times too, if you find this happened yesterday, had a client call and he said things were running slowly, and the first thing I did was I went into programs and features, and you can sort it by show me what was installed latest, and sure enough, there was some toolbar that got added into Internet Explorer that was just sitting in the background, just churning, and slowed the whole thing down.
and isn't that usually just a check mark that you didn't uncheck when you were downloading something else? Where
Right.
Yeah, watch for
I've
those,
learned, I've learned to look for that.
shareware programs or whatever that come along with
He
programs.
loves WeatherBug.
Oh, I hate that
And
program.
he's on WeatherBug, and the next thing I think it comes in through that. I keep telling him, please stop using WeatherBug, but it just every couple of 3 months, I mean, it just gets in, and then it slows everything down and calls me up. Oh, yeah.
you always, at least you know now to look for WeatherBug.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
Tip, check that your software is up to date.
Right. A lot of software vendors, obviously, their big concern, like we've been talking about this morning, is security. And they want to make sure that if there are any holes in their software, they're plugging them and making sure that their software is secure. So that's really kind of the overriding impetus for keeping your software up to date. You want to make sure that it's up to date and secure, but they're also, most of the time they're adding new features and they're making it better and better. So it's really a good idea to kind of keep.
And that goes back to that last point, though, because a lot of these programs have features where it's calling home and it's looking for updates,
Right.
which is nice for this tip, but it also bogs down the computer, like you were saying, with QuickBooks and other programs that are constantly, calling home and everything.
Right.
Look for
Calling
updates.
home.
Yeah.
I never realized why the McAfee or the antivirus stuff sent me stuff about the updates, because it send you warnings, something you have updates, and I'm
Right.
like, why does it care? And now I realize.
Oh yeah.
Now I know why it cares.
Yeah, it wants to stay up to date to stay ahead of any of the viruses. And so
Yeah, I'd
most
never-
software vendors will understand that, hey, somebody found a hole in our software. Let's plug it. We fixed it. Now we got to push out an update and make sure.
I get it now.
Nick, about a minute left. Give a quick plug for your business and how you can help business owners out there.
Absolutely. We are a managed service provider that we offer IT services to small and medium-sized businesses and help them get their technology under control so that they can focus on their business and not on technology.
All right. Nick Paris also handles the IT services for my business, and just got me set up with a new Exchange server from email. I was having a lot of problems with emails going to spam and whatnot, and so got that taken care of. And so I know a lot of people are having that issue out there. Reach out to Nick if you're having that issue as well. So, Nick, good discussion. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kelly. Take
And
care.
again, learn more at alphacomputing.com or give him a call at 813-839-7671. He's at extension 100, 813-839-7671, extension 100, or visit alphacomputing.com. If you'd like to get onto this program, please visit tbsinterview.com. A lot of FAQs and answers to listenership and placement of the show and what you get for coming into the program. Again, tbsinterview.com. You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Bill Meyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Bill Meyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Cooler in the mid-70s, 10% chance for an isolated shower or two. Mid-50s for the low tomorrow, mid-70s continue. Then look for those 80s to return through the upcoming weekend. Impact Radio, 1250 wins, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 wins, WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Find us online, TampaBayRadio.com. Also, we've got another site open now where you can find all the audios easily available on demand and searchable. Simply go to thatbusinessshow.com, and you can find those there in order, and you can share them across all the different social media platforms very easily. Again, thatbusinessshow.com. Our next guest for the program, Greg Sossaman, President and CEO of Topper's Creamery. Learn more about this at topperscreamery.com. And Greg also being a returning guest of the program, so we welcome him back. Greg, welcome to the program today.
Welcome, Greg.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And I remember the last time you were in because the name, I love the name Sossaman. It's just one of those names that just, it's fun to say, Sossaman. I don't know if you have ever had anybody say that before, but I think that's a pretty cool name. Where's that from?
Thanks. It's from, it's German. It used to be Sossamanhausen, and they dropped the Hausen several generations ago, and they came over, and then, of course, in high school, everybody has nicknames, and so my whole life I've been Sauce.
That's a cool nickname.
Well, I like it, Sossaman. All right, very cool. So, Greg, tell us a little bit about your business, Topper's Creamery.
Topper's Creamery, best soft serve ice cream on the planet. We're a soft serve frozen custard. We do traditional freestanding locations. We have 6 of those across Central Florida, and then we do non-traditional locations in places like the UCF campus. We're in the lobby in the Renaissance Orlando SeaWorld next to Starbucks. We're in the Dolphin Tail Adventures, Clearwater Aquarium. So we've got big traditional storefronts with drive-throughs, and then we have little 4-foot linear kiosks.
So how many years has it been that you've grown?
Yeah, 10.5 years ago we started.
So where did you start originally?
We started right here. So, our first location's been open 8 years now over in Valrico.
Well, then how do you go from that first location into having in a SeaWorld and then the dolphin tail, exhibits, and what's your first step? How do you get there?
Yeah, and it's funny, when we initially did our strategic plan, we thought it's the freestanding with drive-throughs, and our secondary plan was to do these non-traditionals in the lobbies and, where we can work in a very, very limited square footage, 200 square feet, 100 square feet, and then we actually designed it so I can put an ice cream operation in 4 linear feet. And it would be a complement to another operation. And so we just, we're good at what we do. And so we're ice cream people, we're operators, and I think that's the whole basis of it, is just making sure we understand our business and how it works, and making sure we can fit it into what the needs are for people, just to give them some great ice cream.
Yeah.
Now, you said soft serve. Is there a reason that you only do the soft serve versus the traditional scoop and cone, or is that just a niche that you serve well? Tell me about that.
Yeah, we think that, when we were doing research, and we really started researching this back in 2001, when you look at some of the universal brands that have been out there for a while, who's been out there and successful for years. Dairy Queen, has been around for
Ever.
60, 80 years.
Yeah.
Carvel, the same amount of time. And so when you look in a lot of different markets, Ted Drew in St. Louis, Coors started in 1919 on the Coney Island Boardwalk. Soft serve ice cream has been something that universally has stuck around. As some of the yogurts, they come, they go, they come back, they go back, and it's almost like a trendy business. But soft serve ice cream is something that really has had staying power as an actual product itself.
And how does the soft serve yogurts differ from the soft serve ice creams? I can't really tell them apart unless you tell me what they are.
Yeah, ice cream, obviously they're both dairy based, but the yogurt's got the cultures and that kind of thing. And the ice cream's just a good old premium ice cream.
And that's what you all are, the ice cream, right?
It is. We are actually frozen custard. And custard means that there's at least 1.5% of egg yolk in the mix. And so it makes it creamier, smoother, richer, it melts slower. So there are a few other, and it just tastes better. And ours is a French vanilla bean custard. It
sounds really good.
It really is. Thank you.
How many different flavors do you have at Topper's Creamer? And do you constantly come out with new flavors and take old flavors off? How does that work?
Yeah, we do. We have a rotating list. So we've got a couple of seasonal flavors. We'll run eggnog and peppermint at the holidays. We'll run pumpkin around the Thanksgiving holidays and Halloween. And we just kind of run different, we'll have about 6 or 8 more pistachio, butter pecan, orange dreamsicle, mint chocolate. So we'll run some different flavors. All of our shops always have some different options. And so we just play to typically what people want. So
do you ever get to come up with your own flavors? Are you ever out with the family and you just come up with something really cool and you say, this should be a new flavor?
It's funny because I'm one of those guys, they call me the mad scientist in the
well,
in the company.
With a name like Sauceman, it's a great combination.
Yeah, and so I'll make stuff if I'm having a group over or something, at my home or something like that. I'll run and get a fresh apple pie or a fresh coconut pie, and we make something called a topper twist, which is others call it concrete or blizzards, or where you mix something in with the ice cream. And so I'll go get a fresh apple pie, and I'll put fresh apple pie in with the vanilla and mix it up. And the other day I met some friends up at the shop. She's a fanatic on coconut, so I went and got a coconut cream pie at Moreno's, and I mixed some of that in, and she just said it was delicious. Or key lime, and we don't really sell that, but I love having fun with different recipes.
Are you the chef behind the different creations, or do other people pitch in and with the different creations too?
I am the chef, and so way back at the beginning when we designed the actual vanilla flavor itself, it took us a year to get our vanilla flavor. I mean, we really we're very thorough and over 100 different iterations of vanilla in order to come up with our flavor. And so I continue to use the same creative process today as far as just coming up with new recipes.
So a lot goes into making a flavor. Then it's not just a matter of a few days in the kitchen you got a flavor. It took a while to get some of these creations out.
Absolutely. You do research, you see what other people are doing. Sometimes it's a trendy or seasonal thing. We'll do different floats, and every month we run a different product in the shops, and we'll come up with a butterscotch root beer float or some different things that just kind of where things really go together.
Well, I think you have the great, the best of all the worlds. You get to have the business aspect of being the CEO of the business, and then you also have, the creative and the innovative part of coming up with new flavors. So you kind of, you're able to tap into all these emotional aspects of you.
Now, do you have a signature flavor that's been with you for the 10 years, or is it come and go?
We do, and it's our vanilla. We've got that French vanilla bean, and it's just absolutely delicious. I mean, if you ask me what our very best product is, I'm going to tell you it's our French vanilla bean and a fresh waffle cone, and we make hundreds of them a day on different days. And so that's really, it's a basic product, it's a core product, but it's one of those universal, the same way that ice cream and soft serve's been around forever. It's a universal product that just is fantastic.
One of my favorite memories as a child is my mother and I making homemade ice cream. And literally growing up in Indianapolis, we would go out and we would, the first snowfalls or when it would snow, and we had these wood buckets that you would literally put ice cream in. Did you ever do that growing up? No, I think it's the best thing ever. I've noticed in the stores now, I mean, nothing compares to your ice cream, but they actually have a homemade ice cream version. Do you ever do any type of flavoring like that?
And it's funny. Good to know you're a fellow Hoosier. So I remember doing that as a kid. Also, I grew up
Is
in
that just
Terre
an
Haute.
Indiana thing?
Yeah, I guess so. The wood buckets with the ice and the salt, and
yes.
you're churning it for an hour, and it
Oh,
comes out. It's
it was
just
so
fantastic.
good. I think the effort that you put into it, doing this for an hour, it was delicious by the time you were able to actually enjoy it, sometime later. But yeah, maybe that's just an Indiana thing. I don't know.
It could be, although and it's interesting. So we'll get feedback on social media. We'll get people in our shops. I mean, one of the things that I like to do is when I'm visiting our shops, I'll go in and I'll just ask people. The one question I ask is, what one thing would you change if you were me? What do we need that we don't have? And so what one thing would you change? And it's just wonderful. You get some really tremendous feedback when you ask those questions.
Now, do you have like a mix-in station? Do you do that, or is it just straight flavors?
Yeah, we can make different flavors. So if it's not in one of our machines, typically we'll have one or two products in each one of the machines at each one of the shops during the regular course of business. And so, but if we don't happen to have, say, mint chocolate, that particular week in the machine, and you come up and you say, hey, I really like the mint chocolate, or if you want the eggnog, we can make that for you. And we just we take the vanilla, we put the flavoring in, we spin it up, and you're ready to go. And you can put it however you like it. If you want to put waffle cone pieces, cookie dough, brownie, whatever you like in it, if you want to do that as well. So we just make sure we give you what it is that you want.
Now, see, Toppers is a franchise, correct?
It is,
okay.
Yes.
Talk to us about, I see you have a 100% guaranteed return on investment. How does this work?
Yeah, that's kind of a neat thing. We when we engineered the brand initially, we realized that the non-traditional route was going to be a successful route. And back in 2012, when we opened in the Renaissance SeaWorld, we saw some returns on investment that were just staggering, that were above even what we had hoped. And so what we realized is we kind of accelerated the growth on that. And so we're doing these non-traditional units. So, for instance, in the lobby at the Wyndham Disney, we're in there with Joffrey's Coffee. And it's just a little ice cream kiosk. We're in about 4 linear feet. We've got an ice cream machine. We've got a fresh waffle cone maker. We've got a little sundae bar. At Best Western Disney, we're a self-serve in the lobby. And so what we do is we have a turnkey program that you can, put up, and actually the number has been $5,000. We just changed it because we really want to grow our brand, and it's just a slam dunk financially. And we haven't announced it yet. We're announcing it's going to $2,500, and we're waiving fees for the first 60 days. So you give us $2,500, we put a turnkey ice cream business in whether it's in the lobby of a Marriott or wherever it is in the Dolphin Tail Adventures. We'll set up ice cream for you. We get a small licensing fee, a royalty fee, and then we'll get an equipment leasing fee. And in those cases, the operators and all the different ones that we have open right now, the operators are making between 40 and 50% net profit off of their additional ice cream sales. And that guarantee is, we're saying, we'll guarantee that you get at least 100% return on that $5,000. We just dropped it to $2,500.
I was going to say $2,500 investment. I mean, for a business owner, that's like, that's all bad.
It's a nothing. I mean, our one partner, in the first year, we've been open with these guys for 2.5 years in the lobby at Wyndham. In the first year, they made a little over $22,000 just in their profit from adding the ice cream. Well, to get that kind of a number from a $2,500 or a $5,000 investment is just crazy. But we, as a franchisor and as a brand, we're saying we just want to continue to grow. It makes sense for us. If an operator makes $5 and we make $2, we're okay with that. We want to make sure the operator in every case makes more than we do if the return on investment is adequate for us.
Now, you developed this brand without outside investment, internal funding, only. At what point did you decide, or did you decide all along that it was going to be a franchise? And why did you go that route when you did?
Yeah, and we've got investment partners, but all are internal people, and so we just, I guess we just. A franchise is a great thing. We're actually going a little bit away from that. One of the things, we're changing it to a licensing agreement. So I've been in the franchising business my whole life. It's absolutely a fantastic business to be in. What we find is with these small non-traditionals, there are some of these operators, somebody that might have a skating rink or might have a smaller business, a sandwich shop. one of the reasons they're not franchised is because they don't like the word and they don't want to pay.
I was
they
going to
don't
ask,
want to.
how does franchise and licensing agreement? What's different about that?
You should read Edge Business Magazine. That's
got an
actually
article
what
on that?
that's actually what Terry's editorial was about with Orange Theory Fitness. But go ahead.
And I love Orange Theory. I did my
great
workout
concept.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Franchising and licensing are similar. The actual technical differences in franchising, the franchisor has a greater level of control, whereas in licensing, you're basically allowing them to use your product and use your brand name. There's a little bit less of a locus of control on the operator. So as a franchisor, if they're really doing poorly as far as operating, you can go in and pull it. As a license, you can just stop selling them the product. It's a difference of the amount of control that you have over the operator.
Good discussion talking about franchising and Topper's Creamery with Greg Sossaman, who is the president and CEO of Topper's Creamery. And learn more about this at that website, topperscreamery.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank. And that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit billmeyerham.com. That's billmeyerham.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Good news for drivers on northbound I-75. The interstate has been reopened at Dr. King. Traffic, of course, still slow from before the Summit Expressway, so leave a lot of extra time if you're heading that way. And if you're on northbound US 301, State Road 60, or Dr. King, expect delays through there as well. Seeing delays on westbound I-4 approaching I-75. Southbound 275, still slow between Fowler Avenue and Sly. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Boys and Girls Club of America.
It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids. And when school's out, clubs are in. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org.
Today, some sea fog early, then clearing with a high 76. Cold front moves in for tonight, mostly clear, low 55. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 76.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed the show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Talking to Greg Sossaman, President and CEO of Topper's Creamery. You can learn more about that at that website, topperscreamery.com. And Greg, you have launched a new business grab-and-go program. Tell us about this.
Yeah, we do a lot of sampling, and so it's one of those things. If I'm going to a TBBO event, I spoke at one of those about a year and a half ago, and I brought, 100 and something ice creams. And it's kind of a calling card. So instead of handing out business cards, if you actually hand out cups of ice cream with some, peanut butter cup and fudge on it, people really like those. The Grab and Go program is something that it gives us an opportunity to sell a little bit of a pre-pack, and so we'll take our vanilla, throw some hot fudge and some brownie and freeze it up, and then we'll take it out, and it's just something that the customer can take, and at different venues, and you can do it at a college campus, maybe where there's not space, and not space because we can put an ice cream machine pretty much anywhere. There's not enough demand to put a fresh ice cream machine with the labor and all that. But so they might sell 30 or 40 or 50 of these a day. They're not enough for a regular operation, but certainly they'd like to have toppers with a nice decadent, gooey sundae. And so we've launched that, and so far it's been very, very promising. That's a very recent thing that we've started to do.
Yeah, it's not something a company normally does, is send people out on locations if there's not enough demand for something, but you're finding this to be viable and profitable for the company to do that, even though there's not a lot of demand. You may get 30 sales or something. Absolutely,
and I think there's a secondary benefit for us as well. As an emerging brand, we've got 14 locations across Central Florida. So as an emerging brand, we have graphics in the windows. We have a different things people look at and they say, "Oh, Toppers, I haven't heard of that." And then they taste the ice cream and they go, "Wow, this is delicious." And then one of the things we're trying to do is at each one of the locations, as we continue to open them, we have a little bounce back. So you get a coupon for maybe a buy one get one on one of our fresh waffle cones, as we were talking about on the last segment. We want people to try our ice cream, and what we found is once you've had our ice cream, you're gonna come back.
You're gonna keep coming back. No, they're great strategies. I think and even it's actually building it. And so if you haven't had it, it draws them in. What are the different locations that you have now around?
In the Tampa Bay market, we've got freestanding locations in Largo, in Lake Wales. We've got an inline location down in Riverview, down by Big Ben and 301. We just opened in the Brandon Town Center Mall in a little freestanding kiosk, and then we're in the Clearwater with Dolphin Tail Adventures and Clearwater Marine Aquarium. They have the grab and go at the aquarium and a full facility at Dolphin Tail Adventures in their museum there. And then we're in Central Florida, some of the other locations
And now you're in an expansion area of the business now. You're looking at 33 different locations or so by 2018. Tell us about the development of the company.
Yeah, we brought a guy in-house. And so when we look at different opportunities, hotels, resorts, convention centers, you can put an ice cream in just about anywhere. Any of the high traffic places, maybe some of the zoos, places locally like that just need ice cream or need a fresh ice cream presence or a really, really high quality ice cream presence. And so we brought a person in-house, and his job is to identify these locations, bring in some delicious ice cream, maybe do an ice cream social for staff meetings, and then for us to go in and say, okay, here's how we can put this in, and that's where we do it's $2,500, and we'll do a full turnkey, set it up, and then we also support and service the folks as well. And
for someone out there that's listening, that's considering starting a business, tell them why they should consider a franchise. I mean, you've been involved in franchising. I see you had 8 Domino's pizzas by the time you were 30 years old. I mean, so you've been all about franchises.
I have, and I'm a big fan of franchising. And so a franchise offers you a pre-established brand. It offers you a kind of a game plan or a roadmap on how to successfully run, whether it's a pizza operation, an ice cream operation, any kind of an operation. They're going to have a successful roadmap on telling you here's how to do that. You get economies of scale when you buy through a franchise. So typically your equipment and your product cost should be a little bit less. You get a consistent marketing message. And so you don't have to come up with your own thing. There's a neat thing. There's something called a frantrepreneur and an entrepreneur. And so a frantrepreneur is would be like my business partner. He's got 50 Papa John's and 8 Qdobas, and he's one of the most successful operators I've ever met, and he does it within a franchise. And so you have that franchise system that's there, and you just drive that train further down the tracks than anybody. An entrepreneur, you're laying new track. And so it's a little bit of a different skill set. So being an entrepreneur, I think, is probably much more difficult because you have to create all those processes, menus, supply chain, all that stuff you have to.
But you also, as a franchise owner, you got to be ready for like a brand to change or something. Like recently with McDonald's and their 24-hour breakfast, all the franchise owners had to set up for that or something. I mean, there's no
it's still
arguing.
Instructional, though, right? You're just informed of the change and you implement.
Yeah, but they had to make changes, but they have to adhere to the company policy, though. Correct?
They do, and so the company will roll out, and typically they'll do alpha testing and beta testing to find out. They'll do small scale and then larger scale testing. So they might test it in 10 or 20 locations, and then they may test it in 100 locations in markets just to make sure that it works. But then they'll come through and say, hey, this works. You get this piece of equipment and that piece of equipment. Here's the process. Here's how you cook it. Here's how if they come up with a new breakfast sandwich or whatever.
All right. Well, good discussion. Greg Sauceman, President and CEO of Topper's Creamery. Greatly appreciate you being in studio today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you. Good to see you all.
All right. Again, they're serving soft serve ice cream and custards. Learn more at topperscreamery.com. Also, you can learn more about us at tampabayradio.com. And if you'd like to come onto the program, please visit tbsinterview.com. And a reminder of the podcasting event going on this afternoon. It's free to Tampa Bay business owner members. And if you'd like to come and learn about podcasting from the likes of people at Libsyn and Chris Kermitzos, very experienced people, including myself, send me a message, Jamie at tampabayradio.com, or use the contact form on that site, tampabayradio.com. And please connect with us, social media, facebook.com/thatbusinessshow. And you'll find us on Twitter at thatbizshow. You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.